This is the Dry Diaries with your author, Alex Dry.
Hey guys, welcome back to another entry of the Dry Diaries. It's your author, Alex Dry, and today I am joined with Brett, plus an additional two, Gabrielle Gomez and Rachel Olson. What's up, guys?
My name is Brett Tomberlin. I'm from Locust, North Carolina originally. Born and raised there. Was in the Army for a few years and trying to start acting about 5 years ago and started figuring it out in LA. So July was my 5-year mark in LA.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. You're almost local.
Yeah, almost. I feel like this town's always changing. You just got to keep up with it for sure.
Yeah. I met Brett back in the content house that I was in.
No way. Really?
Gabby and Rachel, this is their first time meeting you.
Do you have some tea to tell us? Let's
Tea.
get into it.
I try to stay as tea-free as possible. It usually works out best for guys when they do that. Leave that to you guys. You guys are professional investigators on tea, so I'm sure you guys got something to spill.
He was the one that was performing at Desert 5.
Okay.
It is funny that it's in the middle of Hollywood, but it's like
It's your like
I feel like if like Austin met like LA and like honky tonk, it's like really cool. It's like there's always live music and it's like a rooftop spot. It was the first spot that I got an opportunity to sing here in LA, and that's how I kind of started meeting people in music. Honestly, it was just I got invited to sing with somebody that had a night going that night. My buddy Steve Cortez and my friend Diner, she's a country artist, and she was my waitress at Barney's, and we got talking, and she was like, "You do country music?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to start." And she's like, "Why don't you just come sing next Thursday?" And I was like, all right. And then I came up
the
and then
star is
meet people.
born.
But she was like literally she grew up in like a diner with her parents, like they grew up like kind of working it, so she was a teenager.
Yeah.
When did you start music?
So I grew up, both my parents were like gospel singers in church and stuff growing up. So I always grew up around it, singing in church, stuff like that, but never took it serious enough to pursue it, I would say, because where I'm from is kind of a pipe dream. It's like people don't do that here. That's for like the people that grow up in Nashville or something like that. After I moved to LA for acting is when I kind of started seeing people do it for a living. I know it's hard, but like you guys are doing this. I was like, let me just shoot my shot and kind of see what we can do. And I just started trying to get around rooms and start writing and started trying to learn how to write and just getting on stage a little bit more. And then I would say probably about 2 years into LA, I started getting around artists more and just started trying to learn. I did like 6 months at a school called Icon Collective, like just trying to like learn how to do anything in like a DAW, like a music processing, software, and just like starting a little bit of music theory. But
I feel like you popped off overnight because I didn't even know that you did music. And then all of a sudden I'm looking on Instagram and I'm like, is this Morgan Wallen? Like, who is this guy? I was like, oh shit, it's Brett. And you're actually really good.
Thank you
Not
so
that
much.
I would
No, it's so funny how like
and you had on like
Well,
a giant black outfit. It was the black outfit. You were on stage.
oh, it was the IndyCar race. I did the national anthem. This is the first time I'd ever been asked to sing the national anthem.
No.
I'd never done it for a high school basketball game. And then I get hit up by Fox Sports. And they're like, hey, do you want the slot for the national anthem? Because I originally got brought out there to do a set with this band called the St. Cecilia for the race weekend for IndyCar in Monterey. And then we got there and they're like, hey, do you want the anthem slot? And then turns out he was doing like the pace car for the race. So we like hung out backstage there and then came on and did the national anthem with a Navy flyover, like F-35 fighter jets flew over.
Oh shit.
Got to go to the starting line. And that was like my first national anthem. And I was like, all right, just straight into it. Just straight into the deep end,
Literally. There's no other way, really. Right?
Yeah, I was like, hey, Mom, so I guess at 3 p.m., tune into Fox. And then we got some opportunities after that because, I feel like that first thing is always the hardest thing to Houdini. Like nobody wants to come to the table until there's food to eat. So it's like, those first ones, you just throw stuff at the wall until something sticks. And then you're like, oh, we got one. And then it kind of starts rolling from there.
Is that how acting was too?
Like I said, I moved to LA after I got out of the Army. I was like, well, I can always go back to the Army, but I'm only going to be 21, 22, like one time. So I was like, I'm just going to pull the trigger. So I moved to LA with like $200 in my name, no savings, and a Harley, and put it on the back of my buddy's SUV. I came out here like 2019 to do like a little like activation with Louis Vuitton. But like, other than that, Yeah, that was also a moment. I was like, who let a redneck in Louis Vuitton? I was like, this is not, but hey, it worked out. Made some friends.
And then you just were in the movie House of Dynamite.
Yes. Yeah. That was definitely a surreal experience.
Which I think it's so crazy that people film things 2 years before it comes out because the anticipation.
Right, and the editing process, and if you're shooting in different locations, that's all you've all got to like time that out, and especially with this one, this was Catherine Bigelow, so she's an Oscar-winning director coming off of Zero Dark 30, and obviously as a veteran, like that was a huge honor. It's just like if you know military films, like she's at the top of she's got a huge respect with the Pentagon and stuff like that, so she got all kind of access to all these facilities that nobody gets. Nobody gets to go to the Pentagon, the White House, Stratcom, all these places. And like they didn't let her film or anything in there, obviously, but her and the executive producer got to go in there and they had to literally like try to take mental pictures. And like as soon as they came out, like write stuff down about like what to say to their set director. And we had a guy, Larry, on set that actually ran the White House Situation Room for 2 administrations.
Wow.
And he was there, like I was supposed to ask questions. And I was like, dude, how like close is this? The ceilings might be like a few inches shorter there, but like this is it. I'm like looking around like this is what it looks like. That was really cool. And just I booked this job. I got the audition fresh off coming out of class with Leslie Kahn, and then I did that. And then I went to Europe and I was in Germany visiting a buddy that was playing football over there. And I got the call back while I was in Germany. So where I'm in an apartment, like Airbnb with my best friend, Manny, and I've got 2 chairs stacked on top of each other with a laptop, and he's standing up on the side of beside the window, holding a curtain back to get some light. And he's like holding his phone like this to try to give me some more light. And it was just like us, just like, dude, I've got a call back for the biggest movie I've ever had. And it's like 9 p.m. We're about to go out for the night.
I love that.
And like, he's like trying to there was like a street light out there that he's pulling the curtain back to try to get some of that. And then I've got
the eerie night.
Yeah. And then, didn't hear anything back for like a week. And I was like, wow, at least I got a shot. And I was in Trader Joe's the day after I got back, picking up eggs and stuff. And on phone buzzes, I look down and I get the email with the offer. I literally sit my food basket down and I just like out of breath. And I called my boy. And he was like, oh shit, I know what you're about to tell me. He's like, you're out of breath right now.
Oh my God.
Then, overstimulated at that point.
I literally sat my food down in the middle of the aisle. Because, like this was my first role playing Wes Welker in the Aaron Hernandez series. But this was my first feature film, you know? So it's like, until you get those first couple, like nobody really wants to come work with you. So it was like, I was like, we pulled it off. Like I was like, I was like, so that was.
Wait, Aaron Hernandez, like the murder documentary?
With Ryan Murphy. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So we filmed that in Jersey and Orlando.
Oh, that's so cool.
We turned the stadium they used, the Pro Bowl, they turned that into the Patriots Stadium while we were there. And we just filmed, like we got all the stage work and most of the scenes done in Jersey in a studio there. And then we filmed a bunch of football for a week in Florida, and that was fun.
Yeah, that's a lead man's dream to cast that and live that life.
It was said so many times, like, dude, we're getting paid to throw a football around right now, and just have a good time out there. It was fun. But that was the first show, and then this was the first film, and from there I was able to, thankfully about a month later, after we shot it in September last year, I was able to book one of the new Taylor Sheridan shows coming out. One of the like kind of the Yellowstone World spinoff. We shot that in Montana, so that was really cool. That was another huge director and universe that I was wanting to get in, and I was very thankful to get in that.
Yeah, he's doing a bunch of stuff in Texas now.
I think he's got like 31 shows or something. He just signed that big deal with NBC. Anything he does, people come running.
What did your parents think when you started going into acting, or when you took that risk?
I'll never forget when I called, because my plan was, I was in the Army, I was infantry, and I was on a sniper team, and my plan was to go down the Green Beret route. And I had a date to go back to Special Forces selection, everything like that. And, I was like looking at I was like 21 or something like that. And I was like, I can go back at any time, but I was like, the clock's kind of ticking on the opportunity to like go learn how to act. I tried at first, I was like trying to do both, and I was like sitting on the fence, and I was like, this isn't working. And I was like, you can't, like, I'm not getting good at either one. I just like made the decision I was gonna make the jump one day. I'll never forget the time I called my dad. I was like, hey Dad, so I'm not going to training with American Airlines, going back to Special Force selection. I'm gonna move to LA to be an actor. And I just remember a little pause and him be like, oh. And thankfully I like pulled the phone back expecting a scream or something. Thankfully he was really supportive. He was like, well, go shoot your shot, you know. He goes, but you know, you got a place to come back to, but let's keep your head about you. You know, just the dad thing, you
The
know.
classic parent.
Yeah,
That's similar to Matthew McConaughey's story a little bit. He wasn't in special forces, but he did the same thing moving and wanting to become an actor. He was so scared to call his dad, and his dad was like, honestly, if you're going to do it, we support you. You have somewhere to go back to. But if you're going to do it, actually do
Yeah,
it.
To it.
for sure.
And
it
then
was
he
one of
just
those.
like randomly applied for that one role just for fun, and he ended up getting the
He had the craziest
Dazed
story on
and
his first.
Confused.
Yeah,
Yeah, you like ran into someone at a bar.
yeah, super old Hollywood, so crazy.
You have to
What's-
be on Special Forces.
That show is. I saw Cam Newton on there. Those shows are fun. The reality stuff is like really fun,
Yeah.
but it's something that I feel like a lot of actors try to stay away from a little bit. But
That's the most reality legit show though out there because it's two guys that were actually in the Special Forces and then they
it's a cool show. Like I see some of the stuff that like they like have the people go do, and I was like, that looks fun. Like you're
Yeah.
jumping out of helicopters into the ocean and stuff, or like trying to jump from one helicopter to another. It was like the craziest stuff, but it was really fun to watch.
Is it legit?
It's good TV.
Do you guys do that stuff?
Well, I wasn't a Green Beret. I was
Right.
just supporting them, but they do cool stuff all the time that usually probably isn't made public knowledge, you know, or is supposed to be done. But, you know, the boys are out there having fun. But
If they cast you in a movie, you don't have to train.
I know I can't wait. I really want to get that first one because it would just be so fun to get out there and just like, you know, you were talking about the football thing, just get out there and fly around on like aircraft
Literally.
and have a good time. Like that'd be so fun because I was, you know, just anything like rappelling out of aircraft. I'm not saying I'm gonna be Tom Cruise, but I was like, I'm gonna do
You
stunts
could
for this,
be in
you know,
the one
like,
that Austin Butler just did on Apple. It was one of the best shows I've seen.
oh, Masters of the Air.
Yes,
He
he's
was
so hot in that show.
They threw it like Callum. Everybody threw down.
Oh my gosh, you have to watch.
It's
it.
like a World War II like bomber wing, and they're all like bomber pilots from.
Well, if Austin Butler's on the screen, I'll watch anything.
I hear they're
You don't have to sell it to me.
I hear they're cooking up Heat 2 with Austin Butler.
No way.
Yeah,
I understand the
so-
Austin Butler hype. It's his time to shine.
You don't understand it?
There's the first.
Wait, I'm
first-
sorry.
First cup of tea.
I can't.
What?
I don't get it. I don't like the attractiveness. I don't get. The acting, I get. He's a talented
Tough
actor.
world out here. Austin Butler's getting. Hey, I don't know how much of a shot. I don't think I'm. You know, I just mind my business.
I'm not his type, so I'm out. Rachel, you might have a little bit of a shot, but I'm a blonde, so
I can talk like Elvis if you really want me to.
He was fresh off Elvis and Masters of the Air. I definitely heard some Elvis.
oh yeah.
Straight to filming Masters of the Air from filming Elvis.
Wow.
So like the accent
So
was
good.
definitely still.
I
a little
feel like
there.
it still is there when he's talking.
Well, he
sometimes.
crushed that. Like he went in for that.
Yeah.
Like really embodied it. So it was funny to see him coming out of Elvis into the next role.
Who do you look up to? Who's your favorite actor?
Man, huge fan of Tom Hardy, John Bernthal,
Tom Hardy, your type?
More my type,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
He's not his pretty boy. Awesome.
and those guys. I mean, Charlie Hunnam's great. He just went to a crazy place with Monster.
Oh,
Like coming from
yeah,
Sons of Anarchy to Monster.
Yeah.
Both a little dark.
Somebody that I look up to now that I had the pleasure of working on the House of Dynamite's Rebecca Ferguson. She's unreal. She's got, you know, Dune, both Dunes, Mission
Yeah.
Impossible,
Yeah.
Silo,
and Idris.
Oh,
Is that-
Idris Elba.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, he's amazing.
he's one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah, he's everybody that works with him, you know, can't say enough about him. Same with Rebecca, in my opinion. Just one of those actresses that like lifts everybody, all the
Yeah.
other actors up on set. That was the biggest thing.
How long
It's
were
kind
you
of like-
guys shooting for?
I was there off and on for like a month in New
Okay.
York, and it was one of those sets to where it was kind of like a pinch me moment, kind of, I would say. You never know what you're going to get when you step onto a set. Some people were like really focused on what they got to do. Like this is their, you know, maybe their first opportunity, maybe their first big opportunity. They're just like, I just want to do a good job. And sometimes it's kind of like gate kept. Some sets aren't very inclusive or accommodating to the new people on the block. Just like get in, do your job, say your lines, get out of the way. This was one of those sets where everybody from the director to the lead actors were just like, I'm going to lift the actors up around me. We're going to make this the best film possible. Because it was one of those movies that like the casting was unreal because they got so many actors that no matter what size actor they were, they may have their own series, but they agreed to roles that were like maybe 2 minutes long, or it's like, you know, just a piece of the pie, part of the ensemble. And it made it so great. And it was one of those sets to where everybody was lifting each other up. Even if you had a small role, like do it strong. And it was just like the most encouraging, uplifting point that I've had as an actor, you know, the Oscar winning director. And everybody was like, no, we're a team here and we're going to make sure each other succeed. And I got on set with a super small role and ended up growing, getting a character name, getting that character name, got in the script, getting added to scenes, started getting specifically stuff set up for me. It was all credit to Rebecca and the other actors on set, like choosing to like, if something was working, they fed it. And like, if you had a good, hey, that was a good instinct, that was a good improv. And a lot of sets, you know, like, you kind of got to fill it out if it's going to be an improv type of set.
Okay.
Some people are like, no,
Like,
you know,
to the script.
say here's your coffee and get out of there. This was one that just thankfully took a completely positive turn and just opened up a bunch of opportunities. And I left that with friendships, relationships, and knowledge that I'm just so thankful for, because it was one of those sets that just completely gave me a different level of confidence as an actor, because I was given the opportunity to succeed instead of like,
Yeah.
you know,
Just like-
just kind of like being like, hey, welcome to the game, kid. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You know? So that was awesome.
Was it surreal being in the military and the dynamic of the show?
It was definitely one of those perfect storm situations, because there were, you know, if there were things where like we had to, you know, we were kind of like thinking on our feet, or we were going for more of an improv. All of the terms were very familiar to me. So I could pivot and say different things, and that helped other people, and then they kind of threw it back. And, you know, similar when one of my co-stars, Malachi Beasley, this was his first film after getting out of the Army, but he went to the Yale drama program after he got out of the Army, and he had a very big role in this film, but he, you know, he was doing the same thing. We were just like ping-ponging each other out, and it was really nice to be on a set where, like, even though I was a newer actor, I could provide some worth.
Which character was he?
So in the Situation Room, there was Rebecca Ferguson. He was directly to her left. I was directly to her right. And he was Sergeant Davis. He was Chief Petty Officer Davis, I think. And he was like the guy that was helping run the Situation Room. He just had these like really awesome human moments, like where just captured like, you know, pictures of like, you know, his girl that he was just about to propose to and all this stuff. Like, it was a normal day, and then it turned into a very not normal day. And it just like really capture like the humanity of like, you know, we never know when stuff is going to happen.
I literally was going to ask you that. Do you think that movies are like innuendos of what's going to happen in the future?
Well, I mean, you hear the thing all the time about like people saying, like, what is that? Projective programming. You know, The Simpsons, though. There's that.
The
That's
creepy.
That's something that I'm like, all right, this is
A little odd.
isn't it
It's, like,
crazy
spot on.
how many things like
He's a time
creepy.
traveler. The inventor or the writer of The Simpsons, I believe, is a time traveler.
That's something
Actually went to his house with Rachel.
Yeah.
really.
Yes, and it was crazy.
They had all this
His old
stuff, and we were so confused. It was in the canals. We're like, why do you guys have so much
Huge
Simpson
Simpsons
stuff?
fans.
And the guy was like, because the director.
Yeah, it was one of the previous writers. I'm like, okay, well, can I get whatever juju he had going on? How does he
Yeah.
know, like, predict all these different...
Did you ask him about it?
Well, he wasn't there.
Yeah,
It was the
yeah.
owners that bought it after him. So I guess...
That guy that started
Some-
the show owns the
Some
restaurant.
freaky stuff.
Weird-
Simpsons for sure.
weird
Yeah.
stuff. But
That
how is it
is
still
nuts.
happening? The people that started writing it at the very beginning, they're obviously not alive. So how does that continue now?
Are they
They're
still
time
alive?
travelers.
Are they not alive?
And
That's
most
not
of them
alive.
are
It's not that old.
I feel like it is.
Well,
No?
I'm
But it started with
aging
90s.
myself, but
Okay.
Yeah.
We're still
Yeah.
kicking it.
Maybe retired. I don't, know
Yeah.
if I don't know if they're gone. They're probably getting coffee down the street. They're like, what?
out here.
His wife is actually on The Real Housewives of Beverly
Yeah.
Hills.
Ex-wife though, right?
Oh, ex.
She got a percentage of it.
Yeah.
I've never seen The Simpsons probably longer than like 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, I really think that movies are like forecast of what's going
Mhm.
to come. But I
Mhm.
did watch House Dynamite last night. It was really good.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's funny to hear the different reviews. Like, obviously the cast just throws down, and the directing and the editing team is just unreal. It was one of those level
Yeah.
of productions to where it's just, it's a ride to watch. Like, the ending is what like, what's your opinion on the ending? Because I hear a lot of mixed.
It just, I was left wanting more.
Yeah, it's definitely, she did it on purpose. She wanted to leave it open-ended. And I think Catherine said, like, if we create a bad guy and we label a bad guy, it kind of like absolves us of the responsibility of like our part in this. Because she grew up in like the Cold War era where they would do like nuclear bomb drills where they would like get under the desk like that was going to help. And she kind of wanted to hit on that, like, of how like this isn't like normal that we're having to like
No.
teach kids to what to do if a nuclear bomb comes. It's
Yeah.
pretty crazy, like out of nowhere. So I think that was where her motivation for that started, and
Also to do a second one. I feel like it's open enough that there
to
could be a
see.
second one.
I'll answer. I'll answer for sure. But yeah, that was a pleasure to work with.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those films that it was a thriller to the fullest extent because they make you experience this buildup of anxiety through 3 different perspectives.
Going.
Do your parents consider it a phase? Like acting phase, and then they're like, what are you going to do after acting?
I think maybe the first
bit.
year or two,
Yeah, where they
kind
start
of like seeing that they were like, all right, like when are you gonna pull the plug on this? Da-da-da.
Oh, when is
And I think they kind of realized at a certain point that I kind of went for the burning the boats mentality. Like no, we're gonna
doing
send this out of the way. Like if you come here thinking like I'm gonna give it a certain timestamp until you jump in fully. I feel like when
Yeah.
you finally make that jump of being like,
If you can,
all of me is in this, like this isn't like I'm not putting more into my backup plan than I am plan A.
Yeah.
And just like Denzel said, I don't have a fallback, but I'm not planning to fall back on anything. If I'm going to fall, at least I want to fall forward. So at least I know what I'm going to hit.
I love
Step on.
that.
And it really is true. Like if you step into something thinking about your backup plan, it really only happens when you just kind of surrender to fully being like, this is what we're going to do. And we're going to figure out a way to make it work.
So I you're a character too. Since I've met you, being from the South, you've always stayed very humble, very respectful. Like
You're always wanting
Which
to
is-
stay away from getting really humbled. So, it's pretty smart to stay on that side of the fence because I feel like in this town, in Nashville, any town where people are really getting after it, you meet somebody on a weekly basis that is just unbelievable. No matter what you're trying to do, there's always going to be somebody bigger, better,
Yeah.
prettier. There's always
Yeah.
going to be somebody that throws down, and it's like, stop comparing yourself. Just run your race.
that's why you're
Because-
successful, is because you have that.
Well, I feel like everybody that has made some success is like they hit the point where they realize you go into it hearing it, but until you start living stuff where like
Mhm.
you have the opportunity to apply that of like, all right, I'm not competing against anybody else. I'm competing against myself truly because like if you get cast for something, they cast you. They didn't cast you because you look kind of like somebody else. They cast you because you bring something to the table that they wanted specifically. And the sooner you figure that out, I feel like the sooner like you get out of your own way.
Out
That's
of
the
your
biggest
own
with
head,
any
too.
industry. That's the
Yeah, yeah,
biggest
yeah.
thing. It's just like stop trying to give yourself an excuse, and social media will kill you. If you watch
100%.
this, you're always seeing everybody's highlight reel, what they got going on. And my manager was talking to me a couple of days ago, and he's like, "Stop comparing yourself to actors. You're great."
Yeah.
He goes, "But you're not an actor." Like you're an actor, but
You're more
you
than
didn't
that.
grow up as a kid actor. Like you grew
Yeah.
up with life experience, and then you
Mhm.
started acting. He goes, "So like, don't let
You're
like,
just riding the wave.
actors talking like mess you up because this has been their life for so long. So that's all they know." And it's like, it really is the case. Rebecca Ferguson, like the lead from this film, she didn't go to Yale or anything like that. Like she started, kind of on her own, like an indie way and just built it from there. And, obviously now she's a household name.
Yeah.
She didn't go to Juilliard. She didn't go to Yale, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that was really encouraging to see like receipts and like people in person that are kind of similar starts to you. So that's cool to see.
Are you more passionate about acting or singing?
I get that question so much. It's tough. I moved here really just not knowing. Like I was like, I'm just gonna try this thing out. And after putting in years of work, I've developed a strong love for acting and like really found like acting, especially after the military, was probably the best therapy I could have went to. Like you learn so much about yourself as a person. Like you have to confront things that you're burying because camera's gonna see everything, or it's just gonna be bad if you're trying to like be too cool, give yourself an excuse or not like break down. It's like it makes you confront all these things in your regular life that
So we should start acting.
it was
Yeah.
it really was like a godsend of like timing for me because there was like so many things, layers I had to peel back to get out of my own way and just day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Acting helped me confront, and I was around people doing music for a living and started allowing myself to be delusional in that aspect too and think I got a shot at. Came back to something that I grew up in that I've always had a love for, and you really got lit on fire to writing songs and trying to learn how to do that. So I think right now one's helping the other, and I'm just fired up about both. And whichever one really pops first is going to help the other. And I don't think I'll ever put either down because
Yeah.
it really helped give me an outlet to kind of always keep my brain, give me a break from this side of my brain but I'm always creating something. It really helps you stay active.
One will be
I
your
mean,
passion at one point, one will be your purpose at one point.
You're
It
always
might
being-
switch.
yeah,
It might
like-
be switched. It might go hand in hand.
And you see it all the time, like you get opportunities to do stuff like Miles Teller and Sound of Metal, Top Gun, where you had that. And you have these songs that pop, or like Ryan Bingham, you know, he was an artist before he
Yeah.
became an actor. Luke Grimes has his music popping now. And, you know, they're one and the same when it comes to like, I feel like that part of you. But, you know, it's just, if I told you I had like any type of idea of how to balance either of them, I'd be completely lying.
I
know,
I mean, that's when you know you're like truly in love with something, you're obsessed with something, and that's how you become successful. The amount of successful people that I know that they had to be obsessed with what they were doing to be able to do
You
it,
have to
especially
be,
in
yeah.
harder, you know, industries like acting and
Oh, we had a
music, like-
couple ramen years in LA for
sure.
sure. I mean, we're talking like, yeah.
But you got to
Yeah.
start
Like-
somewhere, honestly.
Yeah.
When I first got here, you know Lee the Fourth,
Yeah.
good friend of mine from South Carolina. It was me, him, Bo, Suburban Prince, my buddy Manny, and myself in a 1-bedroom apartment with 1 bed, 1 couch, and 2 air mattresses for
Too
like
many
4
boys.
months.
Too many
Wow.
boys in one area.
And Lee was DoorDash.
What does your bathroom look like?
Pretty good.
I don't trust
I mean,
you.
okay. Girls' bathrooms are probably a little worse, to be honest.
And how old were y'all? Early 20s?
Early 20s.
Early 20s
Yeah.
sharing a one that, no.
Yeah. Nobody said it was a mansion, but we were getting it done. And it was,
Yeah.
and I remember we took a picture on a Polaroid standing in front of the air mattresses the day before we moved out. And it's like, we're going to remember this. And we look back on the moment all the time and be like, man. Like,
Started on the air mattress.
thankfully, I look back at all of us and it's like, wow. Past 5 years, we've all like really stepped into our own lanes. And I'm so thankful for where God's put us. You all got to walk your own journey and kind of like go down that path. But there's a point where you stop being codependent and being like, take the responsibility of like, all right, if I'm going to do this, it's going to be me. Nobody's coming.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming to like hand me,
Yeah.
you're going to be a star, kid. You know, like
Yeah.
nobody's going to do that. Trying to start acting in the social media era too.
Mhm.
I just had an audition for a bigger country music film that's coming out.
Okay.
I found out later I got sent to the director and I was like in the last 2 and they ended up giving it to a guy that had like 10 million followers. And it's like,
That's
I
really
can't-
frustrating.
either I can whine about it or I can be like, hey, that's
No,
what
it
it
just
is.
wasn't
You know?
Also, that's a compliment. You made it to the last
Yeah.
two.
It's one of those things to where you can whine about it or you can adapt. So it's just like another thing I'm trying to pick up right now and get, get that side of things up. You got to focus on your craft. You know, social media is good, but you can't put all your eggs in that basket, but you got to pay attention to it now. It's just
Yeah.
where we're at and just like faster than films. And, you know, you can always be putting out content that just like keeps you in front of people, which is something I'm trying to learn right now too. is-
Music and TikTok is like they're focused hard on it right now.
yeah. It's every time I have a meeting, it's like, how's your TikTok doing? I'm like, working on it, you know?
Did you write your new single, Just Got Paid?
Yeah, I co-wrote it with my friend Keenan Shepherd and Fernando Navarro. And we wrote it over at Gibson Studios, actually, thankfully,
sick.
because after my first single, 95 Degrees, came out, I met one of the head artist relations, Gibson, Ray Vinton, at Stagecoach. At
cool.
the Zinyara after party. We were literally one of those things where we were like waiting in line for a drink and I bumped into somebody. I was like, oh, sorry. And she's like, no, you're fine. Are you waiting in line? Yeah. And we just started chatting. She was like, so what are you doing here? Like, I was like, oh, I was singing a little small stage. But she was like, oh, cool. I'm the head of artist relations for Gibson. Why don't you come in the office? And I was like, oh, okay. And then I came to the office and then we just kind of like established a relationship from there. And then they've become a great friend and like, you know, just so welcoming. And that team has been amazing. Kind of like happy to open any doors and stuff like that. And we actually wrote Just Got Paid at Gibson in the back studio on the guitar that Bradley Cooper used in A Star Is Born.
No.
And
so
and when I did the release show, I actually played that guitar at Gibson. So it's cool. Like, it's like that moment. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
And for me, like I know we've all seen A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Did
it was
you
pretty
feel like
special.
Bradley Cooper?
Literally like hold that guitar and I was like, this is so crazy. You know, the whole like meme is like side quested a little too hard and now I'm holding Bradley Cooper's guitar.
Yeah.
I was like, I grew up in Locust, North Carolina with 2 stoplights. So I was like, how did I get here? You know, like same thing on set when I'm sitting here looking around, I'm like,
Hard.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Like, it's
That's so funny when you're talking about the country movie between you and the other guy. I was thinking you would be perfect for Stars. Xanax.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name in Sunset?
yeah, Charlie Hunnam.
That's you.
That'd be awesome.
That's who you remind. Okay, so we're gonna play a little game. It's either red carpet or ranch day. And so I'm gonna name Weekend Vibe and then give 2 options and you pick which one you'd rather be at. Okay, weekend vibe, LA premiere or Carolina bonfire?
Man, I could go for a LA premiere right now, but I would say Carolina bonfire for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gabby?
You guys are gonna laugh at me. Probably Carolina bonfire. I am not good on the red carpet. I found this out recently.
You got to put on this act when you go there. It's just like,
comfortable.
it's like
So
as soon as you get
uncomfortable.
done, you take this breath. It's like, okay, can we?
Well, like no one
Can we-
teaches you how to
can we-
pose either. So then you're like in every different angle. It's awkward.
Thankfully, a lot of
and
times there's a
awkward.
bar
Tired.
strategically placed
Yeah.
after, so you go after.
Right
you're like,
after. It
"Can't
needs to be
that."
before.
Yeah.
They need to give you drinks before.
Well, there's a
Well,
reason why they don't.
There's a reason why the bar is
Probably
after.
what happened to you.
Because
Probably.
people would pregame a little too hard.
What's yours?
The Canadian in me wants to say bonfire, but then
Oh,
like
Canada, okay,
I grew up in Toronto, but like my
Yeah.
family lives in Thunder Bay,
okay,
which is out like pretty close to Minnesota.
yeah.
So it's like very redneck.
So you had bonfires growing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a beach bonfire?
Beach bonfire.
Yeah.
We'd have like
I grew up on beach.
Redondo.
we'd have
Yeah.
we literally have
I
pit
have
bonfires
Bonfires is everything.
where you drive into the middle of the
Yeah.
No, but that's like an actual real bonfire and like
Yeah.
not those tiny
Oh no!
ones.
In Carolina, we grew up like we would go to a field and like
Yes.
fire would be like they'd be like
Day
gathering
your
pallets,
Yes, yes,
pallets
yes.
for days, and
Yeah.
we would let this thing go.
My parents would drop us off. I don't know how we made it
Yeah.
back home, but we made it back home.
Back
It
in
was
those-
great.
My parents would not have dropped
Yeah.
me off to the bomb.
I
Yeah,
definitely snuck out.
I was in the back of
Yeah.
some Honda Civic that I should not have been in. You know,
Always had to start at that one person's house that was like allowed to get away with all this stuff.
and you say you're going to their house, and then their parents are like, "Cool, I'm gonna look this way. Y'all go." You know.
We used to call it Taylor's Land, and it was literally just land with the huge bonfire in the center.
So honestly, the bonfire would be funner, but like right now, because of what I do for work and stuff, I'd probably pick Premiere.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I would say 9 times out of 10, I'm choosing the bonfire. But
Yeah.
for work, it's good to get a premiere every once.
I mean, but it's also the stage of career we kind of all are in.
Yeah.
Like
All right, bonfire,
If
final
I
call.
had the option
you
to
know?
zoom in from the bonfire,
All right, Alex,
Bonfire.
picking.
Probably a mix of both. For work, I would definitely do the premiere if I
It's
could get a
tough.
good outfit.
is work
But
going good?
If I
Or
could get-
yeah, also, who am I going to the bonfire with?
And-
you have to have good people around you.
she's,
at the bonfire.
she's like, "Is Austin Butler going?"
I'm out.
Yeah.
So I'm out. Oh, although I mean, I could talk some shit
Tough.
to him. That could be fun.
It's tough.
You know.
Oh,
So-
Lord. Okay.
Step in the ring with her.
Yeah. That's literally what she
That's
does for a
literally what I
living
do
is
for
talk
work.
shit.
I was
talk
like, "She's a
lies.
fighter." I was like,
Verbally, yes.
verbally.
Yeah, I talk shit to men and get them shirtless. My average is 4 minutes. I'm not even kidding. I mean, it's safer what I do now than what I used
No.
to do in bars. So it's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah, she
controlled
stays inside
space.
now.
I
so.
stay inside. We're an inside person.
Yeah.
She's off the streets.
I'm off the
The-
street.
The 4 a.m. nights get old quick.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I'm done bartending. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Okay, dream collab, Morgan Wallen or Chris Stapleton?
Stapleton.
Mm.
I love. Congrats to Morgan for what he's doing, man. But I just, when Chris opens his mouth, it's like it just comes from a different place.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my, like I grew up in, around church, stuff like that. So the soul in it, like just like where it comes from, it's just like put
That's
it in
your guy.
face.
Yeah.
Stapleton, man. What a dream collab. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think he's better live in person than even on his albums.
It really is crazy
It's just
because he just
insane.
makes it so personal.
Yeah.
And it's just, he's one of those musicians and vocalists that just make it an experience. Marcus King is another one that's just unreal. Carolina guy as well. I feel like kind of the younger guy and the same, cut from the same cloth as Stapleton, but he's more like the rock blues type of guy. But yeah, just those type of singers that give you an experience.
Jelly Roll.
What about Jelly Roll? Oh, like making it
Jelly
an
Roll.
experience.
Just, yeah.
Mm.
You can't help but be happy for that.
I
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
like, yeah.
Energy is
I remember
just
meeting him one
happy.
time. I was like, he was at a party at Desert 5 after Laney's Grammy.
Mm.
He's like, "I appreciate you, brother. No, thank you, but I appreciate you,
Oh
brother."
my
Yeah,
He always
Post
he-
Malone was
he talks to you like a
crazy.
preacher.
yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody saved
when he
me.
started talking to
Yeah.
he
He's
goes,
like, I love you.
no matter what level they've gotten to, they really lean in harder to themselves and just like try to
Lift everyone
be a
else
light to
do
people
that.
and just
Yeah.
like, and it's embodying what I was talking about earlier. It's like you're not competing against people,
Mhm.
No,
compete
be the
against
light.
yourself. And it's like when you become at peace with that, it just shows. Like if you're not trying to like put other people down and just like, it's a tough industry. It's nasty. People,
Yeah.
you got to look out for yourself. But those people that are able to figure out that middle ground, it's just they're a joy to be around.
Yeah.
It's just a blessing to be around them. So happy for him.
That's what I was literally just talking to my friend about yesterday on the podcast, is he was saying once you define your purpose, then you can pursue your passions, and your passions aren't just one thing. It's so many different things. Once you have that going, then the money's going to flow. Because he was like, it doesn't matter what room you step in, where you're going, what you're doing. If you know your purpose,
Somebody's always going to have an opinion. Like you're not going to be the good guy in everybody's story.
no.
You can't please everybody.
No matter what you do, somebody's always going to have a problem. People have bad days. You catch people on bad days. And I'll ping pong one back to you. This was good from Jalen Hurts. He said, I had a purpose before you had an opinion. Like, everybody's always got an opinion, but it's like if you know what your purpose is,
the opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And
It's like
where
those
your
are going to
purpose
come and
comes
go.
from,
Yeah.
too. If you have faith, no one can judge me but God. Who's your dream collab?
Between those two, probably Wallen for sure.
Team Morgan.
Mine's Morgan.
I'm not saying no to a stadium show in Morgan, that's for sure. But
Just throw a chair at me.
That's the way he said, I just want him to throw that chair at me.
Yeah, you know he threw a chair
Off
over
the balcony,
of the
yeah.
bar.
That was the joke.
I know.
it's a wild thing to say. But it's like, hey, you want to meet Morgan? Yeah, I'd like him to throw a chair at me.
We can't say that.
Anyways, Morgan seems like a great guy.
Okay. How do you reset?
I would say being able to get out of town. I would say honestly, music helps me a little bit, kind of like, work the other part of my brain. But getting home and going hunting, like getting in the woods, just like this past couple years, we developed a kind of a tradition with my best friend Manny, and we duck hunt on Christmas Eve. And we'll go out there. His dad like hand built a cabin like out there on the land.
Oh, wow.
And we'll go out there and we got like the fridge in there and cook a couple of steaks, and we'll wake up next morning, go duck hunting, get out there. Just buddy brings a dog, and just turn the phone on airplane mode. You don't have the luxury to do it for a week, but like at least, just like break.
Just enjoy it.
Go home like.
Do you deer hunt too?
I do. Yeah. Deer hunt. I grew up doing dove with my dad and then deer with my granddad. So it was kind of always just like nice to get out there. Dove's nice because you get out in the morning, come back, it's a little quicker of a thing.
What about partridges? Do you hunt partridges?
Partridges?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
That was a very Christmas
Yeah.
oriented.
Like a
Canada,
bird.
In a
you
pear
partridge.
tree?
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely not the pear.
Not a fair girl.
I had to call the ambulance.
Are you allergic?
Ambulance?
She is. We didn't know that.
What's
Wait,
in
what?
pears?
I don't know.
You're allergic to pears.
I never knew
That's
this.
the first.
We literally wake up like slightly a little hungover,
This is
and
after Halloween.
after Halloween, and Alex is like, comes in my room. She's like, my throat's closing, but she was so calm about it.
Because if it was in the
Have you
morning,
had pears before?
I thought I had eaten proper pear, like
you're
maybe in a
pear
salad
drinks or
like-
small.
yeah, but
Well, now we're
It could be
never
like
eating
one of
pears.
the pesticides or something like
that's
those
what I
on the-
think. It's called like an Asian pear. It's supposed to help with hangovers. That's like a little.
Oh, well, maybe not.
That's a little trick for everyone that is not allergic. So I ate it, then my throat starts closing, and so I'm like, do I wake
Yeah.
Rachel up? Do I not?
Yeah.
do.
Wait up.
Chill up.
And I was like,
Close
hey, I
enough.
think
What were
my
you gonna
throat's
do?
closing. I took
you wait
two
to the point where all you can
Benadryl.
do is not in point.
I took two Benadryl, and then I was, it's not working. I'm just
Didn't
gonna call 911. The guy came and
Gosh.
Well, I didn't know what
That's
to
okay.
do because she was also being really calm. So I was like, okay, how
But that's
severe?
Alex. Yeah. she's
Yeah, but I was
speaking
just
on
like,
it.
how severe is this? We were trying to like find allergy meds.
Yeah.
And then I was like, we're not risking this. By the time these people get here, it's game over. So I was like, sit down, don't move. And I'm just sitting there like talking to her. I'm like,
she's like, yeah, that's when you call it.
I'm like, how are
Pepsi,
you
like, don't
feeling?
hide
Like,
it.
are you okay? Like, she's like, yeah, it's starting to feel more tight. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, do I have to give her CPR?
Yeah.
Her throat was closing, so I don't even know if that would
Girls
have
crack me up. Like if they set their mind to say it's not a big deal. Like no, it's not a big deal, and you can clearly see.
Will
it's a
it out
big
of our-
deal,
Yeah.
It was like, okay. And the guy,
My throat's just closing.
It's
That's
kind of like
super kind
guys to where like
personality.
we can get
I mean, that's when you call
stabbed,
I have a
hit
stash of
something,
everything
like
son.
really get hurt.
Yeah.
that kind of hurt. Play it off. We get a cold.
yeah, thinking.
Guys are
Hold-
wimps.
Hold me.
I'm tired.
Like
Say.
it's getting dark.
It's like the world is ending.
Oh.
It's the last hour of
It's
your
the
life
funniest
when you
thing.
have a
What-
sore throat for a man.
it's game over.
I deal with
Same
too many
I'm-
boys on a daily basis. They're all wimps. Sorry. Most of y'all
Hey.
are sad.
A cold. I hate to see a cold coming. I really
We'll hate to see you
yeah.
coming.
well,
I would
call
like-
me
I would like to
because
see
that's what I do now is give our friends remedies for colds. So I just
Sans
send one of our guy friends all these natural meds for him to take when he was sick.
Electrolyte powder the day after drinking now for sure.
Mhm.
That's a regular remedy for me. Oh, we're not 21 anymore.
Yeah, that's
I
the
switched out-
thing.
I switched out Red Bull for Gator Light, and it's been a game changer. Like,
Gator Light.
Game changer. It's the
Man,
rehydration.
That
You
sounds
switched
like
out the
some-
Red Bull.
Red Bull for like a Gator Light. The sugar still
was Gator like
I was
A
drinking
Red Bull the
I was
size of your
drinking
head was
a Red
what
Bull.
you did to recover?
No, it was well, yeah. I don't really stop though. So like I would drink one of those a night.
Yeah.
I would have a Red Bull the size of my head every single night on stream. And so like alcohol or not, doesn't matter. You're still like hungover from the Red Bull. Swap that out for Gator Light.
Gator Light. I'm
You're
done.
funny.
Maybe you
Great.
should
Gator Light's
try
got about just as
coffee.
much sugar though.
I can't stand coffee. Well, it's got more sugar probably, but the electrolytes keep you at least hydrated.
I would say travel is a great
Mhm.
way
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah,
Love
keep traveling.
just getting out of the country does so much. I feel like
Yeah.
for
Respect.
just a good reset. You know, I really enjoy it. You can't always pull it off with schedules, but that's an awesome way to do it. So
Yeah.
just change the environment for a little bit. Just get a complete like new environment for a bit. It's like really refreshing. So
Yeah, that's what I did for 6 months. It was great.
do a little like Europe run.
Yeah, I went to Europe. I went to Serbia, which was cool.
What brought you to Serbia?
My best friend's boyfriend's from there. And so I went and stayed with his parents.
Okay.
They lived on a farm. They had a greenhouse, grew their own
Like a
food.
real experience instead of
Yeah,
going
yeah.
like the tourists. Like,
Using Google Translate to speak to them.
wow.
Yeah. The dad would ride his little electric scooter to the greenhouse, pluck the food, bring it back, and she would cook it. Yeah, it was
That
so
was probably
cool.
such a good like physical
Reality check.
detox too, because it's so different the food wise and growing
Also,
yourself.
Yeah.
Saying
we have here.
how good you come back feeling
Yeah, 'cause
when
we
you
don't have all
eat
the
the food over
crazy-
there. Literally, anytime
We're
you leave the
killing
country,
ourselves here.
I mean, we're talking. I was slamming Guinness, pasta. I was like, I'm about to look ridiculous.
You were probably
Coming-
smaller coming
I
back.
came back shredded. Well, I was like, I have drank every day for the past 2 weeks, and I look better than trying to like do like turmeric shots and like eat ground chicken here.
Celery juice.
It's crazy how much stuff we got in our food here. So that's another benefit of when I am home, the stuff we do grow, or hunting, you get to eat stuff without preservatives in it. You feel a lot better. So
Yeah.
I got a fridge full in North Hollywood right now of deer meat.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you cooking us dinner tonight?
We'll do a little cookout soon.
If you could do anything or see yourself anywhere in 10 years, what would it look like?
I would say a healthy mix, getting to do awesome shows with artists I look up to and kind of be creating a space for veterans coming out of the military that want to get into acting or music, starting a nonprofit that's going to provide that. You know, there's guitars for vets that Gibson already does and stuff, but just provide kind of like Adam Driver's doing and provide that like a feasible path for veterans that like, you know, it's not as untouchable as you think it is, and show them like with like tangible results or like, you know, like physical people you can go to, get them linked up with people that want to give back and like teach, kind of help bridge that gap that kind of seems pretty impossible when like, especially if you spend a few years in the military and you're not 18 anymore and you're thinking about like trying to go do the Hollywood thing. You're like, oh, I'm already 10 years behind everybody. You're just like, I don't have a shot. Kind of helping show people that like, no, look here, like I'm a walking receipt of that this is possible, and provide those opportunities. And then of course be making incredible films with my friends and like some of the directors I look up to, and hopefully coming back around with some of the people I look up to now and getting to create films with them one day, doing kind of like the action thriller, you know, space, making films like that really motivate people to kind of just like, you know, like the whole small town thing, like show them that like it's not reserved for the people that have billionaire parents, extremely famous acting parents, or like that own a studio. It's open to everybody as long as you like completely commit. Because you like you can lead a horse to water, but until you get out of your own way, no amount of program can do it. But at least this would, you know, provide opportunities for people to kind of get a start. And that's where I kind of want to be in 10 years, is kind of being able to reach back and provide those opportunities for guys that started like I did, and just kind of like let them know there's life after the military.
Is it really common that people from the military end up wanting to go into acting?
But I know the numbers are not big at all, people that actually end up doing it, because of the feeling of like, I don't know where to start. No, it's just like you do feel behind. That was the biggest thing that I didn't feel crazy behind, but I did know there's like child actors that have been at this for a while that I'm like, now I'm trying to learn how to do it. You feel like you spend years of your life in the military trying to get good at a job, and then you got to start from completely square one, not knowing anything. The complete new guy is like, all right, all that doesn't mean anything here. It does. You just got to start.
It's like its own world.
But you have real life experience that helps you, kind of bridge the gap of not having acting experience, that you can you don't have to act as much, quote unquote. You can just like pull from real experiences. But
You have PTSD.
thankfully, compared to the guys that I learned from and had the pleasure of serving with, I definitely do not have that type of PTSD. Is a funny thing because it's like, there's so many different forms of it.
Yeah.
I hear a firework, right? Definitely not that, and very thankful for that because it's really tough for guys to kind of like create a base norm when they do struggle with that, because there's so many things where they don't feel like they have a steady baseline to come back to, because it's always kind of changing. And especially these guys that are dealing with drone warfare right now in Ukraine, can't imagine that type of PTSD because they're so involved in our everyday life.
I haven't even thought about that type of PTSD, to be honest. That's
It's
crazy.
unbelievable. I mean, there's like the way warfare is getting on the battlefield is so scary, when it comes to things that are integrated, that can be weaponized, that we hear and see in our everyday
Every
life.
single day.
So yeah, I'm very thankful to be in a position to where, I can help those guys, but not being held back by that in a major way. So it's something that I'll always respect. And
your foundation in 10 years will help them too.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is crazy what music does for therapy too. People that have even had a medical condition and doing something worked a part of their brain that kind of helped them get out of like a speech impediment or
I'm a big believer in frequency healing. So certain hertz of music can help heal certain cells in your body.
really.
That's true.
And it's actually like a scientific proof study.
Yeah.
Cancer cells, anxiety, headaches.
Yeah, like some of the studies that are coming around that like really help with that is really fascinating. It's cool.
How long in the military were you thinking you wanted to be an actor?
I would go home. I was like, every time I go to a concert, I'd always end up backstage or like something like that. Now, part of that's because I'm more of a ask for forgiveness, not permission type of person. I'm just going to walk in and see if someone tells me not to. I was at CCMF, Carolina Country Music Festival, and I was there with somebody that was performing earlier. But, when there's like a headliner that comes on, everybody's got to get out of there.
Yeah.
And ended up on stage behind Luke Combs by the sound booth. And I was like, making sure security wasn't about to come like put me in a headlock or something like that. But yeah, I feel like I just started meeting people while I was still in. I was like, all right, God, what are you trying to tell me? It was at a rate where every time I would get around music or every time I would get around something, I would meet somebody to where it like wouldn't let me forget
Really?
it. You can't go a day without thinking about something. You should not ignore it. And it was just one of those things to where I think it was probably like a couple years before I got out, where it just all of a sudden started overwhelmingly feeling like go shoot the shot.
That's so awesome.
Once I started thinking about it, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I knew that
If I don't do it
like,
now.
risk was exponentially better than regret of like living my whole life. Like that eats people alive, like with of regret. But I was just like, I'm 21. I need to stop taking this so serious. Let's just shoot a shot. And I just decided to do it. And I'm so glad I did. And never would have guessed the path that,
It's also a testament to all the doors that have opened, not easily because you've obviously worked really hard.
Right.
But that have opened, I would say, so quickly for some people being out here 15 years, 20 years trying to do it is just a testament to.
And it's also funny, like, it's hilarious when you look back of when you set your plan, like, I'm going to do it this way. Okay.
Your 5-year plan.
You could plan the opposite.
A 5-year plan has been
even.
something that's always cracked me up. It's like, that's what you think is going to happen? All right, cool. For some people, it does work out that way.
Yeah.
But,
that's a certain type of breed, too, I feel like.
And that's important, knowing where you want to go. But if you're going to sit here and lay out how it's going to happen, you have no clue.
No.
But we've all been 15 and we're like, okay, we're going to get married at 25.
I spent 10 years in my career that I was like, oh, this is how it's going to be. This is the goal. This is what I was going to do. This is the dream job. I got the dream job, hated the dream job. I was miserable. And I kept getting things thrown in my path, similar to the music connection, where it was like people are continuously telling me to do something, or opportunities are presenting, or situations where I'm being put to do the thing that I'm now doing.
Yeah.
10 years later, where, man, life would have been so different and I would have been less angry. I was an angry like, you met me 3 years ago.
You can never compare it to,
but things are throwing themselves. That was the common denominator. Things are throwing themselves in my path that I should have been doing things.
But there's a
Very
purpose
specific
for that,
purpose.
and divine timing's a thing, and
Totally.
you don't want to interfere with timing
Yeah.
because one of
Today.
those experiences
I resisted
formed
it.
what
That was
how
the whole
you would've
thing.
done
I
now.
could beat myself up about not starting acting when I was younger, but if I wouldn't have went through those experiences, I wouldn't have had the end that I had, with the life experience that I had. Perspective on it too is like, I think a lot, and I think it's funny how a lot of our first aspirations and dreams are a product of our environment that we grow up into, of like what we think would be good
Same.
compared to like
Yeah.
what we see as an example of being good. I heard the other day is like, when you're born, you look like your parents. When you die, you look like your decisions.
Oh, I saw that the other day
Oh, I
too.
love
And-
That's why I asked you about your parents though
Yeah.
too. Is like what are their thoughts on it? Because
Yeah, they're amazing
No.
people, and I'm
It's
very, very thankful for a
Grow
great,
up in that.
of being, growing up in a household that supported me. And we didn't have a ton of money or anything, but we, there was definitely support,
Yeah,
and
that's so
and
support
they were
too.
present, which is a lot of people don't have the luxury of. But there is a certain point where you got to spread your own wings and start wondering if this
Choosing.
is my dream, or if this is what I think means success to the people I grew up around. The label of success compared to where my town is, compared to what would make me genuinely happy for a career. That's why I always tell people to travel, because if you never get out of that little bubble,
You'll never
you're
know.
never going to know what your actual,
Yeah.
Like my motto.
yeah.
Yeah. Even like when I go home for Christmas, I love them to death, but everything is just so surface levels.
And it's the same.
You
You go
just-
home, and in the first 3 days, you've seen everybody and you've done everything. And now when I used to be like really excited to go home, because it was like we were all still kind of like growing up, and it was fun to go out every time and everything. Like now, like you go home, you go out
Yeah.
like once, and you're like, all right, I've done
Yes.
everything. And then you realize you're home for 5 more days, and you're like,
That's why I made my parents
Alright.
come here this year for that
parents
exact
have never
reason.
moved to LA.
No.
Never, like they're like, we love you. We'll see you when you get home.
Are you gonna be at Stagecoach this year?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be performing?
Yeah.
TBD. I'm waiting to hear back, but I'm waiting to hear back from my team, but I think there's possibility, but nothing is confirmed yet. So
Sick.
fingers crossed. That'd be really cool to get my first official slot this year. So praying for that. I know.
We'll
I know.
keep you guys.
Get my TikTok up.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, that concludes another entry of the Dry Diaries. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
We ambushed him with 3
Yeah,
girls
you
that he
scared
didn't know
yourself.
about. But he
Terrible Friday
survived.
night.
Did really well. Do you have sisters?
I have one little sister.
Okay, that makes sense.
Eased in.
Yeah.
He's also spoken a woman before.
But to come and have
Like,
3 girls
freaking-
asking,
It doesn't get
questions
any
on
less
camera,
scary.
well,
It doesn't every time it's scared. All right. So,
If you don't
It
have
doesn't matter.
sisters, 3
Yeah,
is a
it's a
lot to
lot.
hit. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for listening. We will see you next week. Bye.